Yeah, actually, how do you feel about that? How do you feel that Whitmer and Walls, same thing? Newsom is still in. He didn't get recalled. What do you feel about that? Like, are we too far fucking gone? Are we such pathetic little bitches as citizens that we will just let tyrants like not only walk over us, but we'll like, no, please do it again next time.
Yeah, I don't think that we're too far gone. I'll never have that outlook on life. You know,
I
and I
gladly
mean,
appreciate that, honestly.
yeah, I mean, I can get real fucking pessimistic, dude. Like I can say some dark shit and I'm just like, fuck it, but ultimately I'll never have that outlook on life because I believe in truth, man. I believe in truth and I believe in freedom and we have to fight for that shit. And unfortunately, to me, certain things like that, all that does is just tell me that, hey, look, guys, this is a bunch of areas where your local government and state governments are totally fucked and
Yeah.
corrupt. And your whole election system that you think is fair and just isn't fair and just. Because you can put a straight up mentally person up there who no one shows up to their shit, and then you have someone else who's like, I'm super intellectual and I can combat every single point that I believe in and argue it, and millions of people show up to my shit and then I lose to some fucking come on, man. Like that's not real, bro. It's bullshit. It's a setup, dude.
I love people who talk about freedom. I love people who realize that the government is what it is. And most importantly, I'm so refreshed to hear you say though that because I talked to a bunch of people who are like the black pill, right? Like they're so fucking hopeless that well, nothing can fix anything. And those are the guys who are literally like, I'm just waiting for the day when becomes reality. And it's like, I don't I don't want that day. Like I do not want to have to fight for the basic civilization that we have. Like I think our civilization could be better. I think there are better systems. For you, it's anarchy. For me, it's something close to anarchy. Whatever it is, like I think that there's something better. But getting there can be really tough. And I'm willing to go the slow route of we have like a pretty fucking good gig going on so long as there's not a boot on my fucking neck. And or the boot's at least like a woman size shoe still. Like as long as that's happening and we can maybe reduce that and work towards it, I really don't want like the armed collapse. And I talk to so many people who are like, nope, it's just fucking over. And I'm like, I don't want it to be over though. Like I kind of like having a house and a car and gas pumps at work. Like I
Right.
dig that.
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I love electricity. You know what I'm saying?
it's kind of
All these
nice, right?
commodities.
The
Yeah, pretty
internet,
nice.
the internet's cool. There's pretty ladies on it.
Yeah, like the internet's great. We get to talk to people we would never talk to or ever see in our life. And look, here's the deal. We're winning the internet battle, bro.
I
We are
know.
absolutely dominating them in the realm of information. That's why they're struggling so hard to censor everyone and they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, dude, to try to fucking combat, two guys in a utility room and a guy in his bedroom, you know what I'm saying, in front of his computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in
No, it's
some multi-million dollar studios.
dude, it's crazy. So like I do law stuff, but I also talk like nerd culture shit because I'm a fucking idiot. With some friends of mine. And like they like criticize Hollywood. They criticize Marvel a whole lot and Disney. And like to find these people who command millions of dollars of production and who bring in, $1 billion in ticket sales or whatever, and to see them pissed off and like tweet about some random YouTuber who's sitting in like a closet just with a bunch of toys in the background. And they're like, well, this guy sucks. Is like, why do you even care? Like your budget is $100 million and you're fucking worried about a guy named Gary. Like what is wrong with you? But we do, we
Right.
win the internet information battle because it's just fucking true. Right? Like that's the weapon.
Yes. And
It's
that's the difference right there, is because, you know, that person that is talking about that guy Gary in his basement or whatever,
yeah.
that person probably most likely isn't actually believing what he's telling everyone at that time. Some other guy came up with a piece of paper and told him to fucking say it, and then now he's got to act like he cares about it and say it so he can get the paycheck. But when it's people like us, we believe what we say and we stand behind what we say, and we're spitting facts, bro, straight up, and that shit resonates with people way more. You know, sometimes you can just tell what the truth is. You know, you hear it and you're like, you know what, actually that's the truth right there, I know it, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Our sense of intuition and justice is actually like a pretty good barometer for most people. And the things you have to do to get away from, but and this is the entire basis. I correct me if I'm wrong on my lingo, because my anarchist is not great, but it's the idea of natural law, right? Like there's a natural set of consequences for actions, and when there's unnatural actions, the unnatural consequences come kind of from the community that is developed, and a set of social mores or acceptable sort of behaviors that people are supposed to follow. So you've got like, look, if you touch the electric fence, you're going to get shocked. If you jump over the electric fence and try and rape my cow, I'm going to have to do something bigger than shock you. Right? Like, is that a kind of a basic idea? And
Yeah,
so
yeah, definitely.
this is the reason like anarchism, libertarianism, or the sort of the maximum freedom perspectives get to is like there's a basic set of shit that we can all understand, because when someone took our toy when we were a kid, we figured out that that didn't feel right. Like, and it's not much more complicated than that. Like we really don't need 800,000 pages of law to say, don't hit me, don't take my shit, don't interfere with my ability to make money or make things, and also stay the fuck off my property. Like that's pretty basic. We get those things. And so when we start going on the internet and just saying that, like, hey, you know what? It's really fucking weird that like these purple haired idiots at Twitter just like decide to ban people because they don't like what they say, and like they'll find some excuse to ban people over speech. Like that seems weird, because like where I was raised, you could like talk, no one had to listen to you. They could all just go away. And on Twitter, there's this like mute button, and I can just keep that idiot away from me if I want to. But anybody else can hear him because I don't want to mess with that. And I think, to me, that's why we're winning. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that we are winning because we have truth on our side. I look at it through a more kind of a spiritual way, you know what I mean? And this is like,
Yeah,
this
tell
isn't
me about that.
something that, you know, someone can prove, right? Like I can't sit here and tell you like, you know, I've seen this or whatever. It's kind of like I look at it like riffing on a guitar, right? Like when you're writing songs, especially like metal, it can be like super technical and like complicated and fast, right? But when
Yeah.
you're freestyling and riffing like that, you just kind of naturally start coming up with some things, and then the drummer starts vibing with you, and then before you know it, like you guys are in this zone that you never thought you were going to be in, and now you just wrote like the sweetest shit you've ever heard. And that's like a feeling that kind of comes naturally, that I can't explain to you how it happens, you know, with like empirical data and evidence, you
Right.
know. But I look at it through kind of like a purpose and a spirituality type of dynamic. So number one, truth is real. Okay. Truth is objective. It's inherent to creation. It is, or it was. Truth is not something that has not happened yet. That is not what truth is. Truth is something that has happened or that is happening right now. That is real data that we can, you know, observe and stuff like that. You know, and then you have facts and certain things like that. But truth exists. So then I have to think like, okay, well, if truth exists, then some sort of morality has to exist, right? Like this condition of freedom, right, is morally legitimate. There's no violence involved. There's no coercion. There's no threats. There's no force. That's a legitimate condition. When you go into a grocery store, that's anarchism, bro. That's freedom because, yes, everyone needs food. You know what I mean? Everyone needs food. We'll die without it. But everyone there, from the person stocking the shelves, from the person ringing you up, you know, the truck drivers delivering it, all of them are receiving a service by providing a service and making money, and nobody has to do it. No one
Yes.
has to do any of that, you know? But if we don't, like, we'll starve, right? So I think there's a lot of purpose to things, and I try to keep it as simple as possible, but because I believe in truth and because I believe that I don't have the worldview that, you know, we all came out of the primordial ooze for no reason at all, and then we just like developed from, you know, like the kind of the evolution thing or whatever, and Darwinism. I don't subscribe to that. Like if other people believe in that, whatever. I think
Yeah.
evolution is like certain types of evolution is real. Like you can elevate your consciousness, you know, you can evolve as a person, right, and become a better person. But you know,
So
I
you
don't subscribe to.
are you like, are you Christian? Or can I like I'm
No, no.
okay, something else.
Yeah, I'm not a Christian. I have, you know, I do have some Christian friends and Christian family members. You know, when I look at the story of the Bible and I read the story of Jesus and stuff like that, I see almost like kind of a perfect representation of how human beings should act. Like, you know, don't use violence against people, don't threaten people, don't worship man, right? Like, don't worship authority invested in man.
But
Operate under a higher
should you worship ass though?
ass, like big booties.
Yeah, like booty. Should you worship booty? Like at least a little
I mean,
bit.
I do, bro. Yeah, I can't help it, bro. I got this inclination where I see that shit and I'm just like, oh, you know, I just want to slap.
It deserves a slap.
It deserves it. Or at the very least, just go up to it and just look at it in its magnificence and then just set a little knick-knack on it. You know, just a little knick-knack. It deserves it. You know, it's beautiful.
I fucking love it.
So pour out an art bag about more of the frog. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the thought better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law